Yo, what is up, guys? It is the Great Zage, and this is What If Asta was Madara's reincarnation. Now, just to describe some things, first of all, now he will have chakra, he will have the Sharingan, and he also will have the Mangekyo and the Eternal Mangekyo. How I do it? Well, you're gonna have to see and find out. Another thing is considering the fact that Madara's Mangekyo ability is not like well known. There has been like a theory about it, and I decided to go ahead and use that theory. So Madara's ability is like, it's practically he's able to rewind on his left eye. He's able to rewind time for like 15, like not for a long time, like only for a couple of seconds, to just to avoid an incoming attack, or pretty much just deflect the attack if he ever missed one. And his right eye is able to see the future and can predict when an attack like that is ever gonna happen. Although I'm not 100% sure on it, yeah, I think that's pretty OP, and yeah, that's his Mangekyo ability, and pretty much, yeah. If you guys want a Kamui and Amaterasu, I'm sorry, just no. Maybe if I ever do like, what if Asta was Obito's reincarnation, or Sasuke, like that could probably happen, but for now, just no. But yeah, it's still pretty OP though. So, after all that, enough chatting aside, let's get started. And also, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
She gripping that dick like she was a lost star. She party at night like she was a rock star. She singing my song like Big-La-Dee-Da. She calling me daddy, but not her father. Little Billy bit that she like big as some water. Could give you the world with the wave of a wand. We Philly, our bitch Cosmo and Wanda.
Alright, guys. Let's get started. We start off this what if with Asta, who's now currently trying to get back Yuno's pendant from an old drunken man who had just stolen Yuno's pendant and planned to sell it for ransom. However, Asta's attempt at trying to get it back is becoming less successful than what you expect. Asta was currently getting beaten down to the ground as the man brutally punches and kicks Asta, trying to get him away from him. However, Asta continued getting up, never backing down. And with the far distant away, we see Yuno watching this entire thing with tears in his eyes, as he was too scared to move, to go over there, to help his brother, or just stop him. He was a crybaby. Now we change back to Asta. We see Asta now continuing his charge, only for him to get kicked in the stomach, once again getting sent flying, as the man is having enough of this and was getting tired of Asta. However, all of this wouldn't stop, as Asta was about to make another attempt to run at the man. However, he stopped dead in his tracks. In fact, he just stand in front of the man, his eyes being covered by the shade of his hair. The man thought, as he goes ahead and tries to attack Asta, trying to knock him out finally. However, what happens next would forever shock Yuno and the old guy by extension. I mean, she was not every day, but you get what happens to you. As in a swift movement, Asta grabs the arm of the man and uses the old man's weight against the old man himself, as he goes ahead and flips him over, shocking both Yuno and the old man as he hits the ground with a thud, getting knocked unconscious, while also freeing Yuno's pendant from his grasp. As the pendant hit the ground of snow. Now, all of this that happened would shock Yuno. How? Yuno thought, considering the fact that he never seen Asta did that before. However, he would then be shaken out of his thoughts and out of his shocked state when he sees a smirking Asta with the pendant in his arm, extending it for Yuno to take it. Here, Asta said, with a calm and soothing voice. What? Also, Yuno was so confused. Why is he talking like that? Most of the time, he'll be more hyperactive and, loud, saying, you see, Yuno, I did it. And, he would do something like that. But this, he seems different for some reason. Yuno would take the pendant, as right now his mind was going through all the possible different questions to ask Asuka. However, he asked the number one that was on his mind. How did you do that? Yuno said, with with a little bit of nervousness, considering the fact that as soon as he said that questions, Asta's face would then go complete serious. Like there's no joking around, no nothing. It was just in complete seriousness, which shook the young child considering the fact he never saw his childhood friend slash brother in that manner. And so suddenly it will then be the serious expression would then be destroyed by a simple smirk. I am awakened. That was all Asta said. He begins to walk off, leaving Yuno there confused and wondering what does his brother mean by that. With that, Asta would just walk off back into the forest, considering the fact that he had a lot on his mind and he needed to sort of, organize everything. Time skip. 3 days. So, it's been a total of 3 days since the incident. And Asta, or should I say, Madara. Yes, that's right. Let me tell you a little bit of a flashback. We see a young soul, not much that was been fully matured yet, but still it was young. This will be the soul of Asta. That was just there. It was born. However, as the soul continued on to grow and grow, little did it know that deep dormant was another, by the name of Madara Uchiha. Now, Madara's soul, which lay dormant, would all of a sudden be awakened at the call of battle, which you guys which it should be pretty obvious, but he was practically awakened by also getting beaten by the old drunken man, and it allowed him to finally begin to get released and gaining control. So yeah, that clears everything up. So Asta, who was now Madara, was catching up with all of Asta's memories, and can only sigh in disappointment due to the boy being an idiot and his obsession with the Nin, or you guys know, like Sister Lily, as well as being weak and lacking what this world calls magic, which although it did pique Madara's interest, he decided that he doesn't really need it, and he doesn't have it. So, if he doesn't have it, then he doesn't really need it. And just so you guys know, that's right, Asta will have chakra and will have the Sharingan of, as Madara, he will have that. However, not now. So, let me continue on. Madara had a lot of, things to take care of. However, the first thing that he needed to do was to make this weak body of his stronger. Then he will have to try to find out what to do from then after that. As we now cut back to the present, we see Asta, or Madara. I'm going to be calling him Asta from now on, but it's still Madara, but yeah, you guys should know. So yeah, we see Asta now currently doing 1,000 push-ups on one finger, like it was nothing, while also being watched by Yuno and Sister Lily, who were doing the cleaning. 996, 997, 998, 999, 1,000, said Asta, as he finished doing his workout regimen, while Sister Lily and Yuno watched on in shock. Now, with Asta, he goes ahead and uses his finger to push himself up, doing a backflip in the process to land on his feet, as he begins to, relax and stretch his muscles. Now, with Yuno, who had just finally snapped out of his shock, the first one to snap out of it, he would then change his expression to a look of determination and seriousness, as he gets up and decides to walk up to Asta, who was now, stretching his muscle. Asta, said Yuno, who was looking at Asta, who responded with a nonchalant yes. At this, Yuno would then clench his fist, and he would then close his eyes and open them with a look of new determination, which actually surprised Asta, or Madara, considering the fact that when he learned about Yuno, to be honest, he was sort of like a crybaby, not really anything special. Although he had magic potential and everything, he was just a crybaby. But this, oh ho ho, now he's seeing something with this guy. Now, Yuno would then begin to speak. Asta, I decided that I will stop being a crybaby. And I'll become stronger. And I'll become the Wizard King, said Yuno. He had a serious expression on his face. Although it did have a little bit of tears in the corner of his eyes, he still said it. And after hearing all of that, Asta can do nothing at all but grin. Asta POV. After Yuno's whole declaration, Asta/Madara couldn't help but smirk, remembering of his dear old friend Hashirama and his rivalry between him, and how it's sort of similar. It's similar a little bit to how Asta and Yuno are. However, after this though, it sort of makes at this very moment it makes Madara realize that this is no longer the Elemental Nation. This is the new life, and this makes him get excited. And he goes ahead and tells Yuno, we'll see about that. After that day, Asta/Madara decides to make his new goal. Considering being Wizard King was added to it due to the fact that Asta's soul was merging with Madara's, becoming one. Although Madara's personality is always showing and is the default, Asta's drive to become the Wizard King and never giving up is still shown. However, he doesn't go around saying it out loud, considering the fact that he thinks that action speaks louder than words. Now with the time skips. So, 8 years have passed. Yep, that's right, 8 years. Now, if you guys don't know, Yuno and Asta were 7 years old when this happened. So, yeah, 8 years have passed. Now, multiple events occurred. But the number one being that Asta's disappearance from Hajj Village. This brought on a lot of chaos onto the orphanage, considering the fact that Yuno sort of blamed everyone for it and also locked himself in his room. Although considering the fact that he just lost his brother and his best friend, as well as his rival, to become the Wizard King. And this sort of causes Yuno to fall in a pit of depression. Sister Lily also felt a little bit bad, considering the fact that she remembered all the time she used to hit Asta with the spells whenever he would ask her out on dates and never give up. However, all of that guilt would then be stopped until they stumble across Asta's room and find a note on his bed, which read, "Listen up, everyone. I'm going on a training journey. I'm not gonna lie. Although I love it here in Hajj Village, I need to spread my wings. I need to develop my skills. But don't fret, because I will be back one day. And if you're reading this, don't think that I'm done. Don't think that I'm done, being your rival. And don't think that I'm stopping from trying to become the Wizard King," said Asta. As after reading this, Yuno will have a newfound of determination and continue his training and continue trying to become stronger. So that way he could become the Wizard King, and that way he could beat his rival / his best friend / brother. Now with Asta's been traveling around the entire practical world, and he's not gonna lie, he has seen multiple things, and this sort of constructs Asta's new goal. While his goal involved becoming the Wizard King, his goal decides that he's going to become the Wizard King and establish equality, and that there's not going to be any more of this BS anymore. Asta has been traveling around. He made it to the Clover Kingdom, to the Spade Kingdom, to all the kingdoms. He even made it to the Witch's Forest, which, although he was attacked, considering the fact, not multiple people are supposed to be there, but still, he was attacked on there. However, he did gain a lot of knowledge about this world, and all right, sorry, let me continue on now. So, Asta couldn't help but feel slightly disgusted by this world, considering the fact that the amount of discrimination around here, which is on another level. Literally, he thought that people back, in the elemental nations were bad, but this is just new levels. Here, if you're a commoner, they instantly It doesn't matter what you do or anything, they will immediately judge you for no reason. And they begin, and not only that, but there's actually been people who bully commoners and everything. And that sort of crafted Madara's new goal. His goal was not only to become the Wizard King, but he was going to establish peace and equality to everyone. And anyone who even tries to flaunt his power, that will immediately be put in their place. And especially for a royal, if the royal tries to do something like that, he will immediately be stripped from his royal status. Yup, that was the goal of Madara. He wanted to build a good society, a one of balance, one that doesn't go ahead and judge people, one that makes, that everyone can be happy. And there can be no discrimination or nothing on that. So, yeah. But now, besides all of that, we can now discuss about how powerful Asta has grown. Well, right now, Asta's hair has grown to an immeasurable length, actually becoming as long as Madara, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, of course, or like as you guys can see on the PNG on the screen. So his hair becomes as long as Madara's does, as well as he unlocked the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Although he still hasn't unlocked the Mangekyo, considering the fact that Madara's been trying to figure that out for a while, he still is very strong. As well as also had multiple jutsus, including the fire style, a flaming bomb, and multiple other fire jutsus, as well as wind and others. Another thing is that Asta actually was able to sort of create a unique weapon for himself. Although he can never compare it to the sword, the Uchiha sword that he had back in the Elemental Nations, it was still pretty good. He actually went ahead and paid a blacksmith to craft him this unique weapon, and due to that, it sort of looks like the same thing as the one that Madara had, during the war and everything. It's like the same thing. The only thing is, like, it does not have like all its special abilities and everything. However, it does cause a lot of damage, and when used properly, and also being sharpened by wind chakra, it can just cut you up. Another thing is he could actually he wheeled that thing around like it was nothing, considering the fact that it was also lighter than the actual Uchiha version. So yeah, although it may not have been the perfect it may have not been the perfect copy, it was still good. As you now decide to go to, the present. We see a 15-year-old Yuno who's now currently walking into the exams to get his grimoire. Unbeknownst to him, though, our protagonist himself was already participating as well. Yuno and multiple mages, including some royals, will begin to walk in, as royals seeing Yuno would begin to scoff and repeating things. And Asta, he was hearing all of this, can do nothing but glare, as well as reinforce that glare with a little bit of killing intent, shutting up any royal, considering the fact that any royal that spoke bad about Yuno would get flashes of their death, and they were scared. What would happen if that promise of death was actually made true? Considering the fact that multiple visions of them will show a guy with long hair and these red eyes with three little black dots in them, killing them over and over again. So yeah, they were scared. As whenever everyone begins to get their grimoires, everyone will be surprised to see Yuno got the four-leaf clover. As Yuno would then grab it, he then declares, "I will be the Wizard King," he said confidently. And Asta on the corner seeing this can do nothing but smirk. "We'll see about that, Yuno," said Asta, with a smirk on his face. After the whole graduation thing, Asta never got a grimoire, which he already knew, considering the fact he doesn't have magic, but he didn't really need it. He had chakra, and that was all he needed. Plus the Sharingan, that's just a double flex. However, so yeah, that happens. Now we move on to Yuno, who is now currently walking around until he's finally being attacked by two nobles. considering the fact that they told Yuno to hand over his 4-leaf clover, considering the fact that or at least this is how they say it, that he shouldn't get all stuck up, considering the fact he has 4-leaf clover, and that should belong to a royal like them. Yuno, not buying any of that crap, was prepared to, was already flexing on them, as he was about to, destroy them. However, suddenly a bunch of chains will begin to wrap around Yuno, stopping him from whatever he's doing. As then a man would then walk in. It was the chain guy from Canon. I'm sorry, but I cannot remember his name, because, he's fodder, but still. This man would then walk in as he begins to proclaim that, hey, a four-leaf clover, that's going to sell for a lot of money. As he begins to grab Yuno's grimoire and prepare to take it away to sell it. And Yuno was trying his best, trying to escape, but he just couldn't. Wow, how pathetic. That you knew you couldn't win this fight, so you had to catch the man off guard. How pathetic, said a voice, as everyone in the alley would then turn around to see a man with long gray or silver hair and practically a weird red eye with 3 black dots in it. Who are you? said the chain guy. However, the man would then chuckle. Why don't you ask my brother that you over there holding hostage? At this, Yuno's eyes would then widen. Asta? Yuno would say, in complete shock, considering the fact that this was his brother. He looks so cool, was the thoughts on Yuno's head. Glad to see you, Yuno. I can see that you got yourself in a very predicament here. Don't worry about it. This shall not take long, said Asta, as he begins to walk over slowly. Oh wait, I forgot to describe Asta's clothing right now. Now, Asta's clothing is it has the same color scheme like how he does in the picture or the PNG right in front of you, as he has like long black pants with some dark blue boots, as well as he has a red jacket on with the Uchiha symbol in the back, which, yes, it was custom made because the man is like just a savage. I swear, I wish I could animate this. It will look real cool, but I can't. As he also had had it with some dark flames, and on the back was his weapon, the copy of the Uchiha sword, although not as great. As he begins to walk, Yuno begins to scream, "Asta, no! Get out of here!" However, he was then stopped. The multiple chains would then rush at Asta, about to pin him to the ground, as the man thought that Asta was nothing, as he can't even sense any mana from this kid. However, in a very split second, as soon as the chains were about to come into contact with Asta, they would then be destroyed. Wait, what? But how is that even? The chain guy didn't even get a chance to finish his sentence, as he looks down only to find Asta. But how? He was right in front of him. As he goes ahead and looks back in the front, he could see Asta was already gone. Did he get here so fast? Was the only thought in the man's mind after he gets unconscious, as Asta would then slam the man into a wall just by the impact of his slash, as a huge crater is formed, as the man was inside the crater, completely unconscious and bloody. And Yuno, who watched the whole thing, will be in shock, as the chains would then be destroyed, allowing him to be set free. How? Was the only thoughts on Yuno's mind, as he actually gets some deja vu, considering the fact that the last time he ever said something like that, or the last time he ever pulled acted like that, was when Asta defeated the old drunken man. Snapping out of his shock, he will see Asta once again grabbing his four-leaf clover grimoire as he hands it over to Yuno. Next time, try not to lose it, and next time, try to be more on guard. Alright, little brother? Hearing this, Yuno would just not say anything until he snaps out of it, saying that they were both the same age, with Asta just chuckling, telling him yeah, okay. As Yuno would take back his, 4-leaf clover, as well as remembering the time when Asta gave him his pendant. Well, I thank you for that, Yuno would say as he puts back the four-leaf clover into his, pouch. However, he then goes and shoots a glare at Naruto. I was about to say Naruto. Sorry, guys. He then shoots a glare at Asta as he begins to rant at Asta, telling him, why didn't he come home? Why did he leave? He understands that he needed to train, but at least he could have done is, made more contact with us, said Yuno. Considering the fact that although he hated to admit it, he was dead worried for him. He didn't even call back home. He didn't even leave them a message. In fact, that was the only message that he ever left with them was the one that he said that he was going to go on a training trip and everything. And Asta, who just heard all of this, would then say, I had no time. I had to explore. I had to train. I had to learn. But I could say one thing. My skills have greatly grown throughout the years. Said Asta with a a smirk, just saying bro, I'm just that guy. Is seeing this can only chuckle and say, well, I'm much stronger. With Asta just raising an eyebrow, aren't you the same guy that got pinned down by a weak chain magic user? Which sort of makes get a little bit of a tick mark, and he then says, I was caught off guard. Sure you were, said Asta, as he begins to chuckle along until he begins to walk away. As was about to, tell Asta, wait, come back, we gotta see everyone. However, Asta tells him that, if he still wants to accept this challenge, considering the fact that since they're still in the challenge of becoming the Wizard King, then let's go on. Considering the fact that in the next few days, the Magic Knights exams are about to start, and he wants to get there. So he tells in a week that they need to arrive at that certain location. And only to see if they still accepted the challenge to become the Wizard King. With Yuno look then changing into a look of determination as he agrees with this. And practically walks off back to the orphanage while Asta walks into the forest. Now Asta's point of view. Asta was walking into the forest, minding his own business, as he finds a large tree. As he realized that this was a tree that he remembered when Asta was overworking his training to the point where he passed out. He would always sleep on this tree, which actually makes Asta smile. He would sit down and just lay on the tree, trying to get some sleep. However, he would then sense a presence. What the hell? Were the words of Asta as he opens his one eye, only to look at the flying grimoire. The 5-leaf grimoire. And what the hell are you? Said Asta. However, just like any normal person would expect, no response would happen. Alright, who are you? Said Asta in a demanding tone. Which, although it looked like, nothing happened, for Asta it was different. As Asta's reality began to warp, as he then begins to see himself inside of this large area completely filled with red, and standing in front of him was this large demonic creature. Well, I am what you call a devil, said this creature, which is now called a devil, as he begins to laugh, saying that he was going to take over Asta's body, and he was going to get revenge. However, Asta, who was hearing all of this, did not even move or do anything, as he had a serious expression on his face. Oh really? Were the only words that Asta said, as the devil would then stop laughing, and as he would see that things immediately, literally, this is the definition of you fucked up, because literally his entire world or this thing that happened would then be changed. First of all, his true form will be revealed, revealing the devil to be Libe in his true form. As Libe was now on the ground with his on all fours, on his knees and his hands to the ground, as he was sweating bullets. What were the things that Libe thought? As the entire attire of the place that he was in would then be changed. As he would look up, he would only be able to move his eyes to look up as he sees Asta now sitting on a throne with the Uchiha clan symbol on the very top of him. do you really think that you will have the power to control me? Said Asta, with Libe now like looking at this man in fear. What is this guy? Is he a devil too? Just what? How the heck did he change this place? As Libe didn't understand. As Asta was just looking at the pathetic form of Libe with his 3 Tomoe Sharingan. However, deep inside of him, he was saying, like, take it easy on the guy. Like, geez, let him explain himself. As he goes ahead and, lightens up a little bit, releasing some of the pressure that he let on, allowing Libe to breathe. Just what the heck are you? Libe say. However, instead, he got hit with more pressure as he once again begins to shake. Okay, first of all, watch the attitude, alright? I'm not one to play games. Second of all, act right, alright? As Asta goes ahead and demands it in a demanding tone, with Libe just nodding, not wanting to upset the man who's able to freaking pin him to the ground as if it was nothing, not even touching him, just by sheer pressure alone. Alright, I want you to speak and tell me everything, Asta would say, as he goes ahead and releases some bloodlust, forcing Libe to speak. And Libe would explain the whole situation with him, considering the fact that he felt like if he disagreed, then this man could have just, stop him or just wipe him out. Very interesting, was the thing that Asta said. As Libe was, thinking that now this guy's just gonna, decline. Like, what type of guy is gonna go ahead and, help a guy after the guy literally tried to act all tough, trying to take away the guy's body? As then suddenly, Asta would then get up from his throne as he walks down, only to be face to face with Libe. Well, it looks like we have a common goal. Common goal? Said Libe. Yes, I want to establish peace. I wanted to build a society that prosper. But if these devils, if you call them, get in my way, then I have no choice but to stomp them out. Hearing this, Libe can do nothing but just watch in amazement of his, new user. Wow. That's actually amazing. As Asta just chuckles as he goes ahead and offers Libe a hand of friendship, or you could say, partnership, which Libe actually accepts, unknowing to both of them that they created a contract. As Asta then returns back to his world, back to the real world, as the grimoire would then pull out a sword, which Asta then immediately declines, saying, "What? I'm not using something like that. Besides, I already have the weapon on my back." As Libe, who heard this, will begin to speak. Jeez, dude, you could at least be a little bit thankful, but that could still work though. As Libe would go ahead and send some anti-magic to the Uchiha blade that Asta carried, causing it to be infected with anti-magic, which now, allowed it to do, anti-magic. However, he didn't really need it, but still, it was useful. Alright. Well, Libe, I guess this is the now beginnings of a new partnership, wouldn't you say? With Libe just nodding in agreement. However, deep down, he was right now thinking, great, I'm teaming up with a guy who's ultimately scarier than me. Am I sure this guy's even human? I mean, shoot, he doesn't seem like it. So, yeah. Now, after this, we're doing a time skip to a couple of days. Well, to a week. As right now, it was time for the Magic Night exams. Yuno would appear, as well with Asta, considering the fact that both of them appeared at the same time. They both went on the journey. Asta used his money to pay for the meals and the inns, although Yuno was reluctant, saying oh, I could pay for this, but Asta insisted, considering the fact that he have not seen his little brother in a long time. As they walk into the Magic Night exams, the man who saw, Yuno and his 4-leaf clover will be surprised as everyone begins to saying, oh my god, he has a 4-leaf clover. Oh my god. However, when it came to Asta, Asta would just show his 5-leaf grimoire, and the man was just confused, saying, I don't understand this. As everyone could tell that Asta did not have a single drop of magic. He could not even sense it from him. As many people being like, common trash, or thinking that they can do something. Yeah, so pathetic. Multiple people begin to mutter. However, this would just make Asta's drive to bring down this discrimination. And as he goes ahead and takes back his grimoire, as the man just allows Asta to enter, considering the fact that Asta just had a presence, bro. He had that presence that just say, I'm not the one to fuck with. As this was now, sorry guys, I continue messing up. I don't know why. Now Asta and Yuno would now walk in with Yuno not getting a single bird attacking him, which actually surprises most of them. However, Asta, he also doesn't have one, considering the fact that he's been sort of, due to this very presence alone, scare off the bird. However, a certain little birdie would actually be, looking at Asta and narrowing its eyes. Now, while walking, this would not cause Asta to bump into anyone because, the birds were not distracting him. So, yeah. The exams would then begin. First was the broom, of course, with them ordering people to fly on the broom, with everyone doing it, with Yuno getting to the highest. However, Asta, seeing this, would just scoff, saying, "What? How unnecessary." As, all the Magic Knight captains seeing this would then be like, what is he doing? Can he not do anything? However, what happened next will shock everyone. As Asta would just sigh, as he then says, Libe. With Libe already knowing what to do, as he brings out the demon, Asta's Uchiha sword coming out of the grimoire. As everyone would look at this odd-looking fan, blade, whatever that thing is. There's all the captains watching weirded out, considering the fact that he didn't seem like he had any magic. However, suddenly the blade, Asta would grab his blade as he throws it onto the ground, which, surprising to everyone, it actually levitates. Asta then jumps onto his Uchiha sword as it begins to fly up into the air, shocking everyone as Asta makes it as high as Yuno. What? Were the thoughts on everyone's mind, as all the captains were narrowing their eyes at this. But he doesn't have any magic at all. I can't even sense a drop from him, so how is he doing it? Even if he were to conceal his magic, we would at least be able to sense it. So how is he doing that? Were the thoughts on everyone. Yuno, who was looking at him, would then say, I see you're strong, Asta. Yeah. Yuno. Let's see whoever gets past this exam, though. With Yuno instantly already accepting this challenge, not even scared at all. As they then move on to the next few courses of the exam, all the way up to the battle. With Asta, showing a lot, not a lot to get other people's attention, but still showing good enough. He still missed a couple of the portion of the test, considering the fact that he doesn't have magic, and he didn't want to just use chakra, considering the fact why am I gonna use chakra on that? Besides, he feel like it would just be dishonorable just to do that. He got his ways. Now came for the battle. And Yuno, instantly hearing about battle, would instantly rush up to Asta and says, Asta, I would like to challenge you. With Asta looking at Yuno. Alright. Let's see how strong you got, little bro. Were the things that was the response that Asta said. But Yuno once again saying that he was, again, both of them were the same age. However, that did not stop Asta from calling Yuno his little brother. Considering the fact that, although they may be the same age, Asta had way more experience than Yuno, and has, already traveled the world, and practically, he has more knowledge. Now, as everyone begins to clear it out of the way for them, leaving both Yuno and them in a circle, prepared to battle, with all the captains watching this. This shall be interesting, said Vengeance, as he looks at this. But I expect that 4-leaf clover guy to win. Were the things that Fogolion said. I wouldn't be too sure about that. You saw that kid. He has some tricks up his sleeves. And something tells me that he's still holding back. I can just sense it from his presence alone. Where what Yami said as he narrowed his eyes at Asta. All right, Asta. I've been waiting for this very moment. Yeah. Don't disappoint, little bro. Yuno, hearing this, would then chuckle as he then says, "Oh, we'll see about that." And then the match would then begin. Yuno would then send a bunch of wind slashes towards Asta, who doesn't even move at all. In fact, he just dodges them with ease, and just doing a dance practically, dodging them. As Yuno will send more and more of them to him, which again surprises everyone. He has so much mana, but the other guy is so good at dodging, where the other people's thoughts. However, the captains were looking at this in awe. It's almost as if he could just tell where they're coming from, said Yami. As well as the other captains have to agree with it. He was not even using it. His eyes are not even open in this situation. He has not even used his Sharingan yet. He is literally just dodging them on pure instinct alone, not even showing his true power. Not bad, Although I do have to speak though. As he also would then vanish, shocking everyone as he appears behind Yuno as he punches him in the face, sending him flying. First of all, you have a severe lack of speed and unpredictability. Your moves are way too predictable, and your speed is average to me at best. Not even I wouldn't even have. In fact, it's below average. I wouldn't even call it a challenge. As Yuno would be, skipping like a pebble, would instantly, regain his balance as he sends a large gust of wind towards Asta, who then just chuckles. Ah, my God. As he once again vanishes and appears right in front of Yuno, punching him in the stomach, making Yuno cough up some spit, once again sending him flying. Again, and also another thing, your fighting style has way too many openings. I consider that you start picking up some sort of way of defense. Because when your wind doesn't protect you, you're going to have to use your own muscle, your own strength to do it. As Yuno would, instantly get up, he would try again with a couple more spells until Asta can just, continue dodging and just, taunting him. Now, all the other captains watching this will be in shock of just the pure power that these guys have. What? But how? How is he still dodging? How is he doing that? Was Frill, the Aquadeer captain? Yeah, he was still okay. So yeah, and Yami was just looking at this. He then says, "There's no way. Is he using just pure muscle alone to run that fast? I could barely keep up with him, even with my trained eye and ki. Just what the heck is this kid?" Was the thoughts on Yami. As all the other captains had their different opinions. Asta would continue dodging until he finally had enough. He then says, "You know what, I have to respect that drive of yours. So I decided to go ahead and hit you with one of my attacks." Hearing this with wide eyes, he instantly prepared his strongest attack, ready to send it towards Asta, as all the other captains would see the burst of mana exploding from Yuno. "Asta!" he would say as he goes ahead and shoots a large beam of wind towards Asta, a practical tornado at him from his palm, with also just bringing out the Uchiha blade that he created. All right. As suddenly Asta would then swipe, would then do just one swipe, a downward swipe using the Uchiha blade. As it then cuts it just cuts through the tornado that shot out of Yuno's hand, shocking everyone. As then suddenly Yuno would then be slashed across the chest, getting knocked out unconscious. Yuno didn't get a cut on his chest, considering the fact that he was still holding back, but still it was enough to knock him out and do a pretty good amount of damage. As Yuno was sent flying across the field, which Yami just narrowed his eyes. Is that my lifeless slash? Considering the fact that it was actually very similar to his, however, it looked different. Yuno would then slam into a wall as he coughs up some spit, getting nearly knocked out unconscious. With Asta just putting his swiping down on his sword, causing a small little crater to form where the sword impacted, shocking everyone. Well, if I were to give you a score in this fight, I'll give you a 6 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for effort, but 6 out of 10 on the way you were fighting. You really need to work harder. further. As Asta would say this, he will go ahead and put his sword back into the grimoire, much to his dislike, but still. As the grimoire returns back to where it belonged, all the captains were just shocked at this. Asta would then walk off as everyone just Asta just chuckled. I think that performance got everyone's attention. Now just to see what's gonna happen. Now after that match, Yuno was able to get recovered due to some healing magic from nearby mages, and they now decide to go ahead and start passing people. Now there'll be a couple that passed, some that didn't. However, when it came to Asta, at first all of them were in complete silence. Until suddenly a large pressure would then fall upon, as Yami would then jump down, as he stands right in front of Asta. So let me ask this: do you think all of a sudden now that you beat that guy, you're automatically the strongest? I can see that look of cockiness in your eyes, brat. Said Yami as he stares down Asta, who doesn't even bat an eye at his pressure. Oh, is this what you call power? Pathetic, were the only words that Asta said as he releases his own pressure, which counters Yami's, shocking the captains and even Yami himself. As Asta would then chuckle, if you can't even handle this much of it, if even this much of it is able to withstand yours, then you wouldn't even be able to last against my full amount. You wouldn't even begin to last if I use full amount of it, which shocks everyone. What? His pressure can already rival a captain, and you're telling me he can go even further than that? This makes Yami challenge him even further as he ups the intent even further. However, Asta does not back down, as both of them would just be a clash of pressure, which even the captains have to just back away a little bit, thinking like, dang, they're crazy. As Yami could not believe it, the kid was keeping up with him, and it didn't even seem like he was actually taking it seriously. Oh really? As he then chuckles, man, I like you, kid. Come join my crew. Okay. Were the words of Asta as he had a smirk on. What? Were other people's thoughts. However, all of them begin to shut up. I mean, like, if anyone who's able to withstand the pressure of a captain and even counter it with his own, then they deserve to be on the freaking squad. Especially when it comes to Yami, who is one of the most intimidating captains. Only next to Jack the Ripper, who just, well, he's not really that intimidating. Well, he is, but it's mostly due to the creep factor of his and how he likes to slice. Well, Asta now was part of the Black Bulls. As for Yuno, he got, the same as usual, all hands raised, as he goes ahead and chooses the Golden Dawn. However, he was still feeling a little bit petty with the loss that he had. However, he did take Asta's, recommendations to heart. Now, with Asta, he was right now waiting for his captain, who was now taking a dump in the bathroom. He then sighs. So this is my captain, huh? I respect him, however, I don't think I'm going to be seeing him as a leader. Well, who knows? However, he couldn't help but like Captain Yami, he has sort of a not one he has like dominating presence. Two, even though Asta was not showing his true pressure and everything, he had to admit the pressure that came off of Captain Yami or just Yami was actually impressive to him. It was able to last up to 35% of his. And another thing was the fact that even though he knew that Asta was far stronger than he let on, he still treated him as if like he was beneath him, that takes some guts. Like, shoot, knowing that someone still is holding him back, and you automatically assume that they're behind you, like either one, he's idiotic, or two, like he's just confident. Either way, it gained him his respect. I mean, Hashirama was an idiot, and look what happened to him. He was the first Hokage. As Madara would once again, continue remembering memories of his old friend. until he sees Yuno, who walks up to him. It's not over yet, as Yuno would say this, with Asta just looking at him. Of course not. What do you think rivalries are? After one battle, we just stop talking to each other? Don't be an idiot, little bro. Our match just began. Although I took the victory now, don't think that just means that you have to give up. But another thing, don't think I'm just gonna sit here waiting like a dog, waiting for you to become strong enough to beat me, because I'll become even stronger than you. We'll see about that. As Yuno throws a challenging smirk at I was about to say Naruto again, I'm sorry. Asta, who also reciprocated with his own. Both of them would then, and suddenly, Yami would then get out of the bathroom. He then says, come on, Finro, let's go. Come on, we gotta get home. And you, Asta, let's go. With that, Asta would then, leave. However, he'll then stop as he turns around to Yuno. I'm not gonna lie, although I was gone, I did miss you, little brother. And with that, Yuno would actually feel a small happiness just well up inside of him, hearing his brother that he had not seen for a very long time actually miss him. Even though he didn't want to, admit it, he was scared of the thought that his brother did not care about him, and that the only reason he came here was to actually just become the Wizard King, and he didn't really care about his old family. But hearing those words that Asta said, immediately smashed away that guilt, or whatever he was thinking. As this will be the end of the video. Just to let you guys know, Yuno went off with the Golden Dawn, so yeah, they're finally going on. So yeah, this is the end for What If Asta Was Madara's Reincarnation Part 1. Hope you guys do enjoy. Sorry if I'm stuttering a lot and I'm messing up my words. Yeah, I apologize for that. I was reading from my script and I continue getting the words confused. So yeah. Plus, I was not really expecting, this thing to go on for 52 minutes, but still, it was really good. I think this was a good intro for my channel. I think this was a good start to the Great Zage, considering the fact that it's practically just whatever. I'm getting too much in detail into this, but I hope you guys do enjoy. Please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And either way, I am out.